Hello everyone, welcome to Matrix Mechanic channel. I am Professor Bharat, and today we are going to discuss about a particular important chapter. It is called as nuclei, right? In this particular chapter we are going to see the complete recap of all the important formulas. I have listed out here 25 important formulas. So if you study this particular 25 important formulas and if you memorized it, okay, it is enough to solve the problems of NEET or whatever it may be, IIT JEE, right? So I will tell you the shortcut tricks or the formulas which you want to memorize from this particular topic in this session. Okay, so we will begin this particular chapter. The name of the chapter is called as what? Nuclei, right? So you know that the basic part of nucleus. Okay, so the basic part of an atom. So if you consider any atom, so first one we are going to study about nucleus. In this we are going to study about nucleons, right? So now see this one. Any atom, for example, consists of a central part. This is what we call it as a nucleus, and around this you will have several orbits. So in this orbits you will have your electrons situated. And what is the part that present inside our nucleus is, you know it very well. You will say about a proton and as well as neutron, but I will not say such one. So inside this, okay, you will have nucleons. The nucleons is the basic part of what? Nucleus. Okay, so this small part will be called as what? Nucleon. So if you consider any nucleus, you will have the number of nucleons, right? The number of nucleons present in any nucleus will be equal to the A is nothing but we call this as a mass number. So this is the total number of nucleons present in any nucleus, okay, because it will consist of proton, neutron and some other particle. That's why we are term that as what? The basic part. That is what we call it as a nucleon. The basic part of human life is nothing but we call it as cell, no? So like that, the basic part of the nucleus is called as nucleon. So this is our first content. And second one, we have to study about a quantity. So this is what we call it as an atomic mass unit. Okay, we call this as an atomic mass unit. So certain people say this as AMU, okay, and it is denoted by the letter 1U, right? So the formula for this particular value is 1 atomic mass unit is equal to, so mass of carbon 12 atom, right, divided by 12. So this is what we call it as an 1 atomic mass unit. I am going to mention the value over here. 1 atomic mass unit is equal to 1.66, okay, 0539. So you need to take this value after decimal point, at least 4 or 5 decimal places you need to take for this particular chapter. So into 10 to the power minus 27 kilogram. So this is the formula for this atomic mass unit. So try to remember this particular value because it is very important in solving problems. Now see this one. Third one, we are going to see about the masses of different units in terms of, okay, mass in terms of atomic mass unit, okay, or otherwise 1U. For example, now we will consider about mass of an electron and mass of a proton and mass of a neutron. So we are going to consider here in terms of 3 different quantity. Now we know the mass of the electron 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kilogram. So this is the mass of the electron, and similarly for proton we will have 1.6726, I think so. Okay, I must not so accurate. 6726, yeah, absolutely. Okay, 6726 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. And this one 1.6749 into 10 to the power 27 kg. So from this one itself we can say that the mass of the neutron is far greater than proton, and okay, it is greater than electron. So each and every time we need to use this 10 to the power minus 27 minus 31, so such quantity. That's why we need to convert this in terms of atomic mass unit. So how to convert in terms of atomic mass unit is 1 kilogram equal to 1U divided by this particular quantity. So I want to divide each quantity by this value. I will get atomic mass unit. Then a value for this one is 00055U. So I will suggest my students to remember this particular mass of an electron both in kilogram and as well as in atomic mass unit. And for this one 1.00727U, and for this one 1.00866U. So these are the values which you have to remember in this particular chapter. And the next one, which we have to see about is nothing but the average atomic mass, right? So average atomic mass, right? Now for example, now consider chlorine, right? So chlorine in the mother earth, okay, it is available in two different form, okay? For example, 35.41 U, okay, for example I am considering here, another one is 36.72 U. So these are the two different form of chlorine with different masses are available in the earth. Now we will take this particular quantity is available at 34 percentage. Then this will be what? So this will be available at 100 minus 34, which will give you 66 percentage. This particular mass will be available in the earth. Now I am going to take some quantity for this one. I am going to keep this formula as m1, this is m2, and this percentage is x1 and this is x2. So in our periodic table they will not mention this particular mass and this particular mass, they will take the average mass for this one, okay? This is what we call it as a abundance. Abundance means what? The plenty of things available in the earth, okay? How much plenty things available, that is what we call it as abundant. So the relative average mass will be taken by, so we can write, okay, average mass is equal to m1 x1 plus m2 x2, okay, whole divided by x1 plus x2. So I will write it over here. So m1 x1 plus m2 x2 whole divided by x1 plus x2, and always this x1 plus x2 will be equal to what? 100 percentage. If suppose three different masses are available with three different percentage, we can take this formula as m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3 whole divided by x1 plus x2 plus x3, okay? So this particular formula we can take, right? So we can use this quantity, or otherwise we can use this particular quantity to obtain our average atomic mass. Now we are going to see about some basics of chemistry that is also important in this particular chapter. So I am going to erase this thing, right? So like the fifth content which I am going to discuss over here. So fifth content, so the chemical properties or the chemical basics, okay, which we needed in this particular chapter, okay, that is what we are going to see over here. For example, any element you can write it as X, okay, either maybe a nitrogen or oxygen or chlorine, and here Z and here A, right? So we know that the Z is nothing but we call it as an atomic number, right? So this is what we call it as an atomic number, and this is what we call it as a mass number. So these are the two different numbers we know, right? Then the number of electrons, okay, the number of electrons will be equal to Z, and the number of proton is also what? The number of protons is also equal to Z, and the number of neutrons can be obtained as, the number of neutrons is equal to, we have to write the mass number minus atomic number, okay? So this particular formula we need to take here, right? And next one, even some properties are there. For example, isotope, okay, we call this as isotope. So what is mean by isotope? For example, now consider three different elements, one H1 and one H2 and one H3, okay? So what will be the identity over this particular three elements? The atomic number will be what? Same. So if we have same atomic number, it is called as what? Isotope, okay? So isotope means we can write in terms of same atomic number, okay? If we have a same atomic number, it is said to be as an isotope. And next one, we have to see about isobar, right? Isobar. So isobar means, now we will consider two example for this. We will take about 2He3 and 1He1H3 tritium, okay? So what will be the number same over here? Mass number, okay? So if it is the same mass number, we can say it as to be as an isobar, right? So same mass number, right? So I'm going to erase that particular side. So the third one, which we are going to see over here as isotone. And for this example I am going to take a quantity mercury and gold, right? Mercury and gold, and this is 80, this is 198 I think so, and here it is 79, this is 197. so we have same number of neutron. So if the neutron number is same, then it is said to be as what? Same number of neutrons, means it is said to be as an isotone. Okay, so please remember this particular thing. And next one, sixth one, we are going to see about the radius of any nuclei. Okay, I want to measure the radius of the nuclei. So radius of nuclei, right? The radius of nuclei can be written as r is equal to, okay, we can write in terms of r is equal to r naught into a to the power 1 by 3, and where r naught is nothing but we call it as a constant. Okay, so 1.2 Fermi, and 1 Fermi is 10 to the power minus 15 meter, and a is nothing but we call it as a mass number. So by using this we can calculate the radius of any nuclei. And next one, we want to find the density of the nuclei. The seventh one is nothing but we are going to obtain the density of nuclei, right? So you know the basic formula, density can be written as, okay, what is the formula for density? Density is equal to total mass by total volume. So in any nucleus, the total mass will be equal to the mass of a single nucleon into the number of nucleons. Number of nucleons is nothing but we call it as a mass number. So mass of one nucleon into the mass number, that is what we call it as a density. And volume, the nucleus volume will be of sphere. So we will take 4 by 3 pi r cube for this one. And here I am going to take this r value from this expression. So m, mass of a single nucleon into the number of nucleons, right? So divided by 4 by 3 pi into, instead of r I am going to cube this one. So this will become r naught cube, and a to the power 1 by 3 the whole cube will become a, okay, because a to the power 1 by 3 the whole cube, 3 by 3 will become 1. So if I cancel this two quantity, so now the density expression is independent of mass number. Okay, now see this one, this is a mass of a single nucleon is a constant value, and r naught is a constant value, 4 by 3 pi is a constant. So the density is constant for all nuclei. Okay, so we have the two important result over here. So I will write it over on this side. Now see this, the density is equal to constant for all nuclei, right? Then what will be the value for the density? So I am going to mention here the density is equal to 2.29 into 10 to the power 17 kilogram per meter cube. Okay, this particular formula is a constant for all nuclei. Whatever may be the element you consider, this formula will be remain same. For example, if you consider the density of an hydrogen, that will be equal to the density of the uranium, but the radius of hydrogen is very less because the mass number is 1 itself. Okay, but the uranium mass number is what? 238. So the radius of the nuclei is greater for uranium, but the density is remains constant. Okay, because the density is what? It is independent of what? Mass number. So we cancelled here the mass number. So we can write this important formula, density is independent of mass number. So density is independent of mass number. Okay, so next one. So after this nucleus, okay, radius and density parameter, the very important thing which we have to see over here is binding energy, right? So binding energy is nothing but, for example, if you consider nucleus, it is consist of many nucleons. Each and every nucleons will bind together to form that large nuclei. Okay, that is what binding energy. And this particular expression, you know it very well. Binding energy is equal to del m into c square. Okay, this comes from Albert Einstein theory of special relativity. Okay, so binding energy, so instead of energy I am writing here as binding energy, and here we are using a quantity del m. So I will tell you what is mean by this del m. It is called as mass defect. Okay, he observed, Albert Einstein observed mass defect in the oxygen molecule. That is what I am going to calculate. Okay, so I will tell you how to calculate the mass defect value, and c is nothing but we call it as a speed of light. Okay, speed of light. So speed of light, the value is nothing but 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So this particular quantity is used to obtain the speed. And ninth one, the very important thing over here, okay, it is what we call it as an binding energy per nucleon. Okay, so so before to this I will see over here the binding energy per nucleon, and I will tell you. Okay, so the binding energy per nucleon, so binding energy per nucleon. Okay, so how to calculate this binding energy per nucleon? So in a nucleus you will have how many number of nucleons? A number of nucleons we have. So the total binding energy per nucleon equal to binding energy divided by the mass number. So this formula is used to calculate the binding energy of a single nucleon. Okay, that's why the total binding energy divided by the number of nucleons will give you binding energy per nucleon. So this is also an important parameter which we have to know, right? And ninth one, so this particular quantity, so we are going to see about the energy equivalent of one atomic mass unit. Okay, that is what our ninth one, right? So energy equivalent of one atomic mass unit, right? So for example, we know the formula for binding energy equal to del m into c square, right? So binding energy equal to del m into c square, and del m value is, we are going to replace it by 1 atomic mass unit into c square. We know the value of 1 atomic mass unit, and c value also we know. So if we multiply that, we will obtain our answer. Okay, but that answer will be in terms of what? Joule. Okay, energy will be measured in terms of joule, so the value will be in terms of joule. Now I want to convert the joule in terms of electron volt. 1 electron volt is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 joule. Okay, and similarly 1 mega is equal to nothing but 10 to the power 6, and 1 giga means 10 to the power 9. So I am going to convert this particular joule in terms of million electron volt. So I will obtain 1U into c square, that is equal to 931.5 MeV. Okay, so this is what the important parameter you need to study. Then we can even write for 1 atomic mass unit, this is the binding energy value for 1 atomic mass unit into c square, we will obtain an answer in joule. And if we convert in terms of electron volt and mega electron volt or million electron volt, we will obtain this particular answer. This is for the energy equivalent of 1 atomic mass unit. So 1 atomic mass unit can be written as 931.5 MeV divided by c square. Okay, so this particular formula you need to remember in your mind. And next one, I'm going to tell you, okay, so how to calculate binding energy. Okay, so there are 4 different types of calculation are there in solving binding energy problem. So 4 types of binding energy problem solving method. Okay, so I will suggest here the method to solve it. Okay, so the very basic element, so I will give you what are the types, and for each and every type how the input will be, and how you have to calculate the binding energy for each and everything, right? So I will erase this side. Now see this, I'm going to take first one, so type 1. Okay, so in our 10th point we are discussing about this one. So type 1, so for the type 1 input will be, for example, the nitrogen value 14.871 U. So they will give this nitrogen, the single element will be given, and you will be asked to calculate the formula for binding energy. You know the formula for binding energy, EB equal to del m into c square. Okay, so first you have to calculate about the value of del m. So del m can be calculated as Z into the mass of the proton. You know the mass of the proton value in terms of atomic mass unit that we have discussed in the previous point. So substitute that particular value 1.00727 U. That particular value we need to substitute over here, and the number of neutrons, A minus Z into the mass of neutron. Okay, so mass of the neutron also I have suggested in our previous point, minus capital M. This capital M is comes from our question. Okay, this is what only we need to put from our question. So Z we know 7, and A minus Z 14 minus 7, that also will give you 7, and I told you to memorize these two values in terms of atomic mass unit. Now substitute here, this is also in terms of atomic mass unit. Now you will obtain this binding energy, you will obtain some answer, del M is equal to something, you will obtain 0.871 U, okay, into C square. But I want energy in terms of electron volt. So we know this formula, 1 U is equal to 931.5 MeV by C square. So instead of this U, okay, just substitute 0.871 into 931.5 MeV by C square into C square. So C square will get cancelled. That's why you have studied this in your schools and board, right? Okay, you will obtain a mass defect, multiple that by 931.5 MeV. So you will obtain your answer in terms of MeV, right? So this is particular method you need to apply. So this is our type 1 problem. And if you consider type 2 problem, right? So please don't forget this, you need to multiply with 931.5 MeV after finding your mass defect. Okay, now see this one. I am going to add here the number of neutrons and protons. Okay, I have left here electrons. Okay, so electrons I left over here because the mass of the electron is very less. That's why I left that particular element over here, right? So next one, type 2 problem. So in type 2 problem, instead of a single element, they will give a particular equation, right? The input here over here will be what? The input or the given data will be, so they will give x plus y will give you c plus d, and they provided the mass of x in terms of atomic mass unit and mass of y also in terms of atomic mass unit, and mass of c also they have given, and mass of d also they have given in terms of atomic mass unit. And for this one you need to calculate the binding energy, the mass defect. Okay, EB equal to, we know that del M into C square. So first one you need to calculate about del M. So del M can be calculated as the mass of the reactant minus mass of the product, mass of X plus mass of Y, okay, minus product, mass of C minus mass of D. So by this way you can calculate your del M value, and here also again your answer will be in terms of what? Atomic mass unit. So you need to right. So here we will take this one, mass of D. So each and everything will be in terms of atomic mass unit. So you need to multiply that with 931.5 MeV, right? Now EB is equal to del M into C square. So del M value will obtain into U. So just multiply this your answer with 931.5 MeV. So this is our type 2 problem. In type 3 problem, okay, now see this one. So type 3 problem. So here again we will consider the same equation. The input over here they will provide some equation. For example, x plus y will give you c plus d. Okay, if suppose 2 hydrogen combines to form deuterium, means you just multiply that by 2. Okay, don't put the mass of x and mass of one hydrogen and mass of one hydrogen added. Okay, just multiply that value with 2. Now so the input data over here they will provide the energy of x, okay, in MeV, energy of y in MeV, and similarly energy of C also in MeV, and energy of D also in MeV. Please check whether everything is in MeV. If suppose something in GeV, convert the terms to MeV. So by this way we can easily rectify our errors, right? Now the binding energy can be written as, so here energies are directly given, so we can directly subtract reactant minus product. So reactant, okay, minus product. So no need to calculate or no need to multiply with 931.5 MeV, because the each and every value is provided with MeV itself. Okay, and in type 4 problem, so this is the last type in this particular method. So in type 4, for example, just consider here I am going to take some equation, hydrogen plus hydrogen, okay, will give you otherwise you will take some other element, okay. So nitrogen plus oxygen, okay, will give you carbon, okay, but this particular equation will not take place. Okay, so I am not good in chemistry, I am good only in mathematics and physics. Okay, so just consider I am going to take this particular value over here. Alright, they will give about the binding energy per nucleon for nitrogen, okay, will be given as something 1 MeV. Okay, the binding energy for oxygen will be given as 2 MeV, and binding energy per nucleon for carbon will be given as 3 MeV. If suppose they have provided binding energy per nucleon for all the elements, you need to calculate the binding energy. Okay, so I don't want this binding energy per nucleon, I want the calculation of binding energy for this particular element. So binding energy of nitrogen, okay, I am going to calculate the nitrogen is having a mass number A. We know that binding energy per nucleon is equal to binding energy divided by the mass number. So I am going to multiply the mass number with binding energy per nucleon, so I will obtain the binding energy of the nucleus. So 14 into 1, which will give you 14 MeV, and binding energy of oxygen will be what? Okay, 16 into 2, so which will give you 32 MeV, and here 3 and here we have 12, so 12 into 3 will give you binding energy of carbon is equal to 12 3s are 36 MeV. So I will obtain a value like this. Then again our basic method which we have to see over here, right? So the basic method, we want to obtain the binding energy value, so I am going to obtain the binding energy is equal to, for this equation, nitrogen plus oxygen minus carbon. If you put this, you will obtain the total binding energy value over here. No need to multiply with 931.5 MeV. Okay, we can directly, the energies are given, binding energy per nucleon given, so from this one we can take our binding energy concept, right? So that's all about our first half of our chapter. So apart from this particular thing, okay, so we need to study about the some more parameters in this particular chapter. It is what we call it as a radioactive law of radioactive decay. Okay, radioactivity we are going to see from our 11th point. Okay, so the 11th point we call it as a law of radioactive decay. We know that each and every nucleus, okay, each and every nucleus will be what? For example, you know what is meant by decay, right? Okay, so initially 100 nucleus will be there, okay, at the time of the death, and after some time takes from the death, the number of nucleus will get a decay. Okay, each and every organisms will undergo decay. So we are going to write the number of nucleus over a small amount of time, which will be equal to minus lambda into the number of nucleus present at the time. The number of nucleus decreasing over the time will be equal to the number of nucleus present at the time, and this proportionality is, okay, what we call it as a lambda, and here we put minus because this is what decay. So this lambda is called as decay constant. We call this as a decay constant, or otherwise the name for this one will be disintegration constant. Okay, disintegration constant, and n is nothing but the number of nuclei at some time t, number of nuclei at time t. Okay, this is what our n. So this is our basic formula, and one more formula we have over here. So that particular formula, after evaluating integration on both sides, we will obtain, okay, that particular formula. The formula states that n is equal to n naught into e to the power minus lambda t. Okay, so n naught is nothing but we call it as a initial number of nuclei. Okay, this is what we call it as a initial number of nuclei. Okay, and lambda is the decay constant and t is the time, and this is the number of nuclei present at time t. Okay, if you consider any element or any living organisms, for example, the number of nuclei versus time, so the number of nucleus will get decreases when the time is increasing. Okay, now it is having the initial value of n naught over here at this particular point where the time is 0. Okay, if you put t to the power 0, n is equal to n naught. When time increases, it will, the decay will start moving, and after that the number of nucleus will get reduces, but it will never approach zero. Okay, so the complete decay is not possible for human and as well as for any element. Okay, so if we are dead, our bones will be remain in our earth, right? Okay, that's why. All right, so this is the formula, and after this, so 12th one over. So now I'm going to take this 13th one. Right, so 13th one, undecay. So I will suggest my student to solve problem only in undecay concept. Don't take a decay value, it will be quite difficult. Okay, so always take your quantities everything in undecay. Right, so I will mention you the decay formula also. Right, so use it. Okay, so at but more probably by using solving undecay itself we will able to obtain our answer. So undecay is equal to the number of nucleus present at initial, okay, divided by 2 to the power n. This is the formula for calculating undecay, right? So the n will be, can be mentioned as n is equal to total time divided by half-life time. Okay, we call this as a half-life time. So half-life time is nothing but if your element having 100 nucleus, if it disintegrate or decay into 50 nucleus, so half of the nucleus has been completely went for decay. That is what we call it as a half-life time. Okay, so we can write n is equal to total time is t and half-life time we will write it as t suffix 1 by 2. Okay, and we can use decay formula also. The decay formula for this particular concept is, okay, take n not common and 1 minus 1 by 2 to the power n. Okay, this is the formula used to calculate decay. And 14th one, the it is called as half-life time, and this can be obtained as, okay, the formula for this particular thing, half-life time t half, which is equal to 0.693 divided by lambda, or we call this as ln 2 by lambda. Okay, we can use this two formulas. Ln 2 value is nothing but 0.693, that's why I have mentioned here, and lambda is nothing but we call it as a decay constant. And 15th one, average lifetime. Okay, so what will be the time taken to complete decay? Okay, what is the average lifetime? So average lifetime, it is mentioned as what? Tau. Okay, so the quantity over here tau is equal to reciprocal of decay constant. So just take an reciprocal of the decay constant, that will give you this particular formula. Okay, right. So next one. So next one we call it as a total decay rate. Okay, so if you consider any element or otherwise consider human body, we don't have only one single nucleus. Our liver, pancreas, eye, each and everything is made up of what? N number of nucleus. Then we call that as a total decay of the complete body. Will take how much time? I want to measure such kind of quantity by using this particular formula. This is what we call it as a total decay rate. Okay, we call this as total decay rate, or otherwise we call this as an activity. Okay, right. So by using this one we can measure the total decay rate. Okay, 1 second, I will change my marker. So the total decay rate can be obtained as R, that is equal to minus dN by dt. We can use this particular formula where R is nothing but the total decay rate, or otherwise we can take R is equal to lambda into N. So if you integrate this particular quantity, you will obtain this particular formula, and we know that N is equal to n naught into e power minus lambda t. Okay, so we can substitute it over here also, right. And 17th one, we need to see about some units that involved in our radioactivity. So we call this as a curie. Okay, 1 curie. Okay, so the unit of radioactivity. So 1 curie can be written as 3.7. 1 curie, you know that Marie Curie and Pierre Curie, right? They died because of cancer. So 3.7 into 10 to the power 10, okay, decay per second, right? So this decay per second can be measured as one more unit. So 1 curie can be written as 3.7 into 10 to the power 10 becquerel. Okay, so we call this as a becquerel. So 1 decay per second will be completely called as what? 1 becquerel. Henry Becquerel, he is also a scientist. He took many research in radioactivity. That's why in order to honor him, decay per second will be called as becquerel. Okay, so these are the quantities that we have discussed here, and the 18th one we are going to see about 1 year. Okay, 1 year in terms of seconds, because in most of the calculation that involved a half-life time, so you will have years. Suppose you want to convert this in terms of second, it will take more time, because our students, if we say that for 1 day how much second, it means that they will take a lot of time to calculate it. So I will give you the value. 1 year is equal to 3.16 into 10 to the power 7. Wait 1 second. So I will watch the value 3.16 into 10 to the power 7 second. So please use this particular quantity to calculate the value for 1 year, right? So this is our formula. And next one, we are going to see about alpha, beta, gamma decays, right? So this is an important decay which we have to see. Okay, so 19th one, so alpha decay. So alpha decay is nothing but if you have an element X, right? So it is having an atomic number and mass number. This will decays into Y. So the atomic number will be reduced by 2 and the mass number will be reduced by 4, and you will obtain an element. That element will be called as helium. Okay, this is what we call it as an alpha decay. So in alpha decay, more probably one question will come. So that is what Q value. So here Q value is nothing but we have to calculate the binding energy for it. So binding energy we will calculate by del m into C square. So here the del m value can be written as mass of X, okay, reactant minus product. So as like our normal way, just calculate this particular value. So by this way, okay, the mass number reduces by 2, atomic number reduces by 4. This is what we call it as an alpha decay. And next one, in beta decay we have two different types. So first one I am going to consider here beta minus decay, right? So in beta minus decay, what happens over here is the atomic number will be increases by 1. Okay, so whenever you will say an element to be negative, when it receives an electron, the same thing happens over here. ZA, now it will be converted in terms of Z plus 1 into A. The mass number remains same, but the atomic number increases by 1. Okay, so with the liberation of what? 1 electron. Okay, 1 electron plus a substance. This particular substance is called as antineutrino. Okay, so here we have an electron and here we have antineutrino, right? So these are the important things in our beta decay. And similarly beta positive decay, so 21, so this is beta positive decay. So in this one, okay, there will be a removal of 1 electron from the element. So X A, okay, so it will become Z minus 1 A with liberation of a positive charge, okay, plus a substance. This particular substance is called as neutrino. Okay, now see this one. So this is what we call it as an antineutrino, but here we will have a substance. That substance will be called as neutrino, denoted by the symbol mu. So this is neutrino and this is positron. Okay, so please be clear. Okay, so electron will be removed, okay, and here you will obtain a positive charge, and here we have a neutrino. Okay, that is the difference between beta minus and beta plus. If suppose they have not mentioned beta plus or beta minus, just check your option, do the both the way. Okay, either beta minus or beta plus, then you will have only one correct option in your answers. Okay, and after this gamma decay, so gamma decay will not have any change in atomic number and also in mass number, only the energy will be radiated from it. Okay, that is what we call it as a gamma decay. So 22, okay, we call this as gamma decay, right? You don't have any change in atomic number and mass number. You will have the element ZA which still tends to ZA with the liberation of energy. This energy we call it as a gamma decay. No change in atomic number and also that no change in mass number. Okay, so this will particularly take place in our gamma decay. So the element will be converted in terms of another element and you don't have any other change over here. And next one, 23, So one atomic, for example, if you consider uranium, right, so here we are going to consider about nuclear fission and also that fusion. Okay, nuclear fission, you know that very well. Each and every particle, right, a large particle, we will have uranium 92 238, it hits by an slow neutron. Okay, then it will be break down into barium plus krypton plus 3 neutrons. Okay, this is what we call it as a fission process. So in fission process, okay, a larger nuclei will be divided into smaller nuclei. And next to 24 fusion process, okay, this will be take place in a laboratory because the temperature is not heavy when compared to fusion process. But fusion process we cannot take place in a laboratory, okay, because the temperature involved here is what, it will be mainly take place in star or sun. Okay, so the temperature involved here will be extremely very high, that's why it is not possible in any lab till now, right? So here the hydrogen okay, combines to form deuterium, and 2 more hydrogen will combines to form deuterium. So 4 hydrogen will combines to form 2 deuterium, and 2 deuterium reacts with forms a helium and again 1 hydrogen. So the temperature of this particular process is what, extremely very high, that's why the energy has been continuously spread out from this particular star, right? So the 25th formula, if I want to calculate the power for this either fission process or fusion process, use this particular formula. We know that power is equal to work done by time, or otherwise write it as N. Okay, so N is nothing but N number of uranium or N number of the element which we took, and energy of 1 uranium, so divided by time. Okay, we can use this particular quantity, and I will tell you one important quantity, energy of 1 uranium. So uranium 92 238, so one element will have an energy of 200 MeV. So this one we will use it in most of the calculation. One uranium atom will liberate energy of 200 MeV. Okay, so please study all this 25 important points that will be in this nuclear chapter. Okay, so if you know this particular points, you will be able to solve the problem. And so I will post the videos as like this in our upcoming days. Kindly subscribe our channel and recommend our channel to your friends. Okay, so please see the WhatsApp group link in the description box. Kindly join that. So if you have any doubt, please try to post your doubts, and if you have any doubt in this particular points also, just put it in the comment box or otherwise WhatsApp me. Okay, thank you.